Voters in Lakeland, Florida just sent a clear message to Mayor Gow Fields. Join forces with Mayor Bloomberg's anti-gun coalition, and you won't be back for a second term. Fields was one of nearly 24 members of Mayor Bloomberg's group who lost their bid for re-election in November and was beat by City Commissioner Howard Wiggs. A big issue in that race was the sex scandal rocking the police department. But as Mayor-elect Wiggs told me, the NRA's ad was definitely a key factor in the outcome of that race because it unmasked the current mayor, revealing the truth about his real agenda to restrict our firearm freedoms.
It became clear to me that we need to make a change. This is a police department in crisis, and it's leading to a community in crisis.
The Lakeland Police Department has decided to fire 2 police sergeants.
The conduct alleged is an embarrassment to all of the professional, hardworking members of the police department and the city of Lakeland as a whole.
Our chief has done a great job.
There was a real question of accountability at the chief's level.
Every day in here, there are always a lot of talks about the elections. Everybody definitely has very strong opinions when it comes to the police department scandal and with things that are going on.
I knew that the morale went down, and I just felt like that since the mayor was supporting the police chief, that it was time for a change.
Like the sports team, change the coach if it's not going right.
Morale is a serious problem because these are the folks that are out on the front line every day, putting their life literally on the line, now looking over their shoulder in a way they've never had to have it done before, and it's going to get somebody hurt. I think this is a leadership issue at the very top.
Voters pushed another incumbent out of office, Howard Wiggs, defeating Gow Fields.
This is a pretty exciting moment.
You ran one of the most hotly contested races for mayor in recent history in this city. Did you expect it was going to be like that?
I did not know it would get like this, but early on I went to a top-level state representative and I asked his opinion. He said, well, keep in mind, Howard, folks in the city of Lakeland do not fire their incumbents. So it's going to be an uphill battle. And as it turned out, we won by a larger margin than I thought I was going to lose by. More voters turned out because people were getting engaged.
I thought it was great.
I think the right man won. I think that Howard is going to do something about the police chief and perhaps even the city manager.
And restore confidence in the city leaders, and I think that's what he wants to do.
Howard Wiggs is the guy I voted for. Gow Fields ran as a Republican, and then he ends up aligning himself with Democrats on the gun control, so I voted against him.
Our gun rights became a hot issue in the mayor's race here in Lakeland after the NRA put out an ad letting the public know that their mayor, Mayor Fields, had joined forces with New York City Mayor Bloomberg and was a member of his anti-gun coalition.
Barack Obama and Michael Bloomberg, 2 men with a radical gun control agenda. And their man in Lakeland, Mayor Gow Fields.
For someone to say that, they're just not telling the truth.
That's very shocking to me. I'm an NRA member, and I just got my concealed weapons permit, so I feel like protecting our rights as American citizens is of utmost importance. We've had people fighting for these rights for years and years and years, and I think that it's important that we continue to fight for those.
I really did not know that the mayor was a member of it.
I'm pretty confident they would not have ever found that out. If the NRA had not done that, we would see the influence of someone like Mr. Bloomberg, who I do not want him telling me or my family how we have to live.
When I saw that he was aligned with the mayor of New York, I knew I was against him because this isn't New York. If I wanted to live in New York, I'd move to New York.
No, I don't think that Mayor Bloomberg should be running the city of Lakeland.
Mayor Fields admits that the gun issue and the NRA ad may have cost him his job here at City Hall.
Gow Fields joined Bloomberg and wrote a letter to the president calling for a ban on America's most popular rifle, a national database of gun owners, and requiring you to get government permission to give a gun to a relative.
I think it did make a difference. I believe Mayor Bloomberg clearly has an agenda that is not congruent with the folks in the city of Lakeland. A majority of the folks in this community strongly believe in the value of the Second Amendment. It ought to be there just the way it's written. My experience with guns started at 10 years old when my daddy gave me my first shotgun, and I know when I'm cleaning my handgun, I'm thinking about, I never want to use this, ever. But I know how much more confident I feel if someone tries to break into my home and attack my family, that I have a gun that I can protect them with.
There's a better choice for mayor. Howard Wiggs, endorsed by the NRA. Wiggs will protect your safety and your freedom.
I heard a lot of folks made statements like, I wasn't going to vote, but I'm going to go vote now.
Our power is in our voting because our country was founded on individuality and our freedom. And if we don't elect politicians who follow our beliefs, then of course that's going to get changed.
Do you think the vote was as much against Mayor Bloomberg as it was against Mayor Fields?
Absolutely. This is not rocket science. It's clear what he's up to, and he's arrogant enough to believe that he should be able to change the future in all sorts of venues and jurisdictions by putting in hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars to sway the attitudes of people to change the Constitution ultimately. And not only is it arrogant, it's disrespectful.
Spend all the money you want, but we're not going to change our opinion for you. I mean, he just wasted his money when he came here trying to change my mind about guns.
To put another gun law in the books is trying to put a Band-Aid on a cancer.
All it's going to do is make innocent people more victims.
The truth of the matter is that criminals need to be in prison. The thing that drives folks up the wall is that somebody who gets out on a technicality, they get out and then they perpetrate those crimes against society again and again.
Everywhere they've tried gun control, crime's worse and murder rates are worse. It doesn't help.
Leave my gun alone.
Absolutely. Leave my guns alone. I'll fight for my rights. I mean, I believe in the Second Amendment.
That's why they're there. They're there for your protection.
What do you think the message is that voters here in Lakeland were sending to Mayor Bloomberg by voting you in office?
I hope that the message is that this system, this democracy still works. That's a message that needs to be sent all over this country, whether it be in Lakeland, Florida, or in Colorado, or in Maine. Some of the best advice I ever received: don't forget, the day after you leave office, they're going to quit holding the door for you. This is not about you, it's about the office. So represent your folks the way they expect to be represented. When you look at what Mayor Bloomberg has brought to the table, what he represents, it's scary if you believe in the Constitution. Changing the Second Amendment to the point that we would not even recognize it.
I don't believe the American people will accept that. I don't believe the American people will accept losing their rights.
Thank goodness some folks can see through that veil and see what he's up to.